Okay, let's just go live. All right, so welcome everybody to another stream here. Let me see something. So, I know we're live on the YouTubes. Are we live on the Twitches? Let's find out. I'm trying to find out. I was hoping it would work with what I have in front of me. But it doesn't seem to be. Refresh. Haha, there it is. Okay, it's working. Okay, so we are live. I think I fixed our music request system, so if there are folks out there who would like to request a song or something, you can. It should be working. I'm monitoring chat a little differently today, so hopefully I won't have to stop what I'm doing quite so much to see what you're saying. Yeah. Just to, try things out and stuff. I'll close that because that's not what I meant to open. I meant to open that. There we go. Okay, so what we're working on today is I've been painting up some Vorbak for a commission project. This is the same commission project for which I painted up Zardu Layak here and the Sword Slaves, whose bases I still need to finish, but they're coming along. And so I also have 10 Vorbak, and of those I've been working on these 5 here. They are coming along nicely. I finished doing all their fleshy bits yesterday, as well as doing some metallics, and that's very nice. I said view. Okay. Apparently someone wants to connect with me on Vero. So what I'm going to be working on today is bone and parchment primarily. We'll see where we get with it, how far we get with it, and what more I would like to do today. But we're going to start from there. As usual, our music is being provided today by Mr. Kevin MacLeod, the king of what's it called? The king of that thing where you don't have to pay for the royalty free. That's it. The king of royalty free music. Okay, so yeah, let's do us some painting. You guys can see my bone process and paper process. Okay, so with bone and paper, well, there's some of them have flames. I need to do those as well, but we'll worry about those after I get this stuff. With bone and parchment, I always start with some Vallejo dark sand, and the differences are in the highlights. So we're going to start with this. With, like I said, Vallejo dark sand. Clean this brush. Speaking of which, I'm not going to clean it right now, but I want to grab my brush cleaner. I wish you'd stop spinning. There. I'll just put that over there. Just gotta try and fix layout and a couple things. There we go. Okay. So, dark sand. just gonna hit all of the parchment and all of the bony segments. So that's gonna be teeth, claws, anything of that nature. And some dark sand. I'm gonna need a smaller brush though, so we'll go through and we'll get, oh, not to mention the books. I'll have to get a smaller brush to get some of the smaller bone things, but this one will work just fine for most of it. Oh, okay then. I'm gonna move my palette over so I don't scrape it against stuff quite so much. Don't want any of this on the nice red armor. I spent so long getting finding a substitute for Mephiston red on. Might be time to retire this brush to the dry brush bin. It's a dry brush bin, but there isn't actually a bin for my dry brushes. It's just the same cup that I held all my other brushes in. smaller brush to get a lot of these smaller bits of parchment and little bits of bone. So the friend I'm painting these for gave me a little bit of artistic license with at least the demony flesh parts. So I've been exploring skin options, which is why they've got this real purpley flesh. Wanted to try playing with some things. Not a whole lot of bony parts on that one. Or papery parts even. It's been real nice not having to wear headphones to listen to my streams or watch YouTube videos anymore, because I don't have a speaker system on my computer. So normally when I'm back here painting, I have to wear headphones. And sometimes they get uncomfortable. But I recently hooked up this little tablet, and now I can watch stuff. And I'm having a chat with my video game group about Battlefront. It's on sale. And they're trying to talk me into buying it, but I don't have spare $24 to buy it, so money is exceptionally tight these days. Though I did, so I got turned down for a job at the place I'm working. I'm working for one of the local high schools because I'm a teacher, but they didn't have any teaching positions. I was filling as a long-term sub, and then in order to have a more steady income, I took a job working in their attendance office. And the pay is crap. It's like $9 an hour, plus or minus a dime. So it really doesn't pay well. It's 29 hours a week, so it's not even, it's barely part-time. And it's not doing anything close to what I love and what I want to be doing. But they had a position that opened up for next year in the social studies department, and so I interviewed for it, and I felt real good about it because I'd been spending this whole year having them get to know me, making connections, all the stuff that helps you get hired at a school and all that. And it turns out the position was for a person to fill a person's spot who got hired at the beginning of this year. A position I interviewed for to begin with and didn't get. And they decided to stick with her. So, despite the fact that they made it seem like this position was made specifically for me, I didn't get it. And that's how my job hunt generally goes. So if I don't have I broke my brush. If I don't have a teaching position by around July, it'll be time to look into going into customer service again. I hate customer service. I worked customer service my entire life up until 3 years ago. I don't like it. It's not fun. One of the nice things about getting back into teaching would be that I could stream and not feel this pressure to try and make my stream financially viable. Because right now I do. There's a whole lot of pressure on me to try and make this something that can help pay bills. And I know it won't. I'm not dedicated enough to it. And I doubt I ever will be. As I've stated before, you may hear a few songs that you recognize from other YouTubers or particular places like Mini Wargaming, Mini Wargamer J, Guerrilla Miniature Games, because we all use the same music. Kevin MacLeod. He's quite prolific on the YouTubes. I think that's all the bony parts on this. Oh, nope. We got a big old piece of parchment on this leg. See, for me, the difference between bone and parchment on a model is all in the highlights. So up until, so we do dark sand, then we do pale sand, or light sand, whatever it's called. And then a seraphim sepia wash. And then from there is where we start differentiating the two types of materials. Because for the parchment, we just go back in and highlight it up again with pale sand. For the bone, we hit it with some bone white and some ivory. I feel like that makes a nice distinction between the two materials. So I'm thinking, since we don't get a lot of folks in the chats of our streams, if you're interested in asking us questions or anything like that, if you want to send in an email to geekofspades@gmail.com, we'd be happy to answer your questions on stream at that point, because obviously the time we stream isn't ideal for everyone who may be interested in watching our streams, but that might give you a chance to interact with us after the fact. You can always leave comments on the video. If you leave a comment on the video, you're pretty likely to get a response from one of us directly in reply to your comment in the comment section as well. But if you would like us to address your question on stream, go ahead and hit us up with an email, or say so if you leave a comment. It's like you'd like us to answer this question on stream so that you can hear the answer instead of read the answer. Just trying to find more ways to interact with our audience. Alright, I need to check some pictures. Oh, that's not what I want to click. There. Pictures real quick. Alright, that's what I thought. Those claws are, in fact, bone. There we go. I missed that part with the... Go back in here real quick. Thought maybe I missed some. I did. Okay. Whole bunch of little teeth in this one, though. So many bony protuberances. I think I just drooled on myself. Protuberances. Is that the word? Oh, just as a bit of a shout out, because I didn't catch what happened a few days ago. Thank you, Higzilla, for following. It's always appreciated. Getting them teeth. Oh, he's got a book. They've almost all got books. I don't know how I keep missing them. I'll probably end up doing that in goldenish copper. I don't know how I keep missing stuff like this. This would have been one that I could easily have painted with the much larger brush I was using. And somehow I completely forgot that it was there. Dork. Once again, for those interested, song request is turned on. If there's anyone that would be interested in requesting music, it's turned on. That's what I thought. Okay. I know Forge World models usually have a lot more detail than Games Workshop models in general, but I was really surprised painting these guys how much there just was on them. There's just so much in the way of things to paint on Vorbak. I got a lot of stuff. An awful lot of stuff. Okay, so the dark sand's now done, so we can move on to pale sand. So shake up some pale sand here. And we'll use a slightly better brush. Use this one. Because there's a lot of little things. We've got to get pale sanded. It's okay to be a little heavy-handed with the pale sand because it is, after all, the first highlight. And for some things, it might end up being the only highlight. You still want to be careful with it. You don't want to go all over the place. But it doesn't have to be a real fine highlight. It's more of a broad highlight. To the point that if there's areas we missed at this point, it's okay, like these teeth here on the shoulder that I forgot about, for them to be just pale sand, and then bring up their highlights with bone and ivory later. There we go. Missed a couple of them actually. Not just the ones on the shoulder. I don't know how I missed everything on this arm. That's slightly annoying. Okay, there's our first one. First set of highlights done on the first of these 5. So I have another 5 to do after I finish these guys. So I'm going to be working on Vorbak for a while. But once I finish these 5, I actually need to paint up some bloodthirsters of corn. Not bloodthirsters, blood. The little guys, bloodletters. Bloodletters of corn. I've got 30 of them to paint. 2 chaos spawn, a demon prince, rhino, 2 predators to finish up another project. I ended up with a whole lot of chaos on my plate this month. I figured you guys would be more interested in seeing me paint something a little more exciting than 30 level 3 bloodletters. Level 3 is like arm's reach, so it's gotta look good when you're holding it out in front of you. Arm's length tabletop kind of quality. Whereas most of the things I paint, it's just I try to, even if it's a commission like these are, paint it to the best of my ability. I find that ensures that I'm always happy with what I'm producing, and I have yet to have a complaint about a model that I've painted. But when it's stuff I'm painting for Sean, then I've got to stick to his level system. I'm not sure if I want to leave these claws on this ham black. Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna go ahead and give them this bone treatment, and maybe add a black wash glaze to it afterwards to make it look like it's just much darker bone. That way it still blends in with the other ones, but has its own look. Number 3. more parchment on this one than bone. Not that there isn't a lot of bone as well. These spinal bits, vertebrae as they were. Figure out what I'm gonna do on the books. Obviously, they can't just be left blank. It carries around empty. They're their diaries. Their Vorbak diaries. Alright, just two more, and then we're gonna hit these with a wash. Some Seraphim Sepia over all the bone and parchment. Reminds me, I missed a couple claws right there. Ah! Fingers are getting cramped. Mainly just my pinky. Not sure why. I mean, I do use it for supporting the model pretty frequently, but I'm not sure why that would make it sore. A little moisture. Don't want this going on thick. Would be a disappointment to the Lord Duncan. He of the two thin coats. Or one thin coat if that's all you need. My wet palette's kind of drying out. Probably have to re-moisturize it after this paint session. Which is fine. That's one of the things you do with a wet palette. You gotta keep it wet. They do like to dry out. I just leave this one. Jumped the gun with the basing on these guys. That was because I wanted to make them pop off the base a little bit before I started painting them, see how the skin tone was going to mix in, that sort of thing. Little bitty teeth. So we might be doing a little bit of a gaming stream on Wednesday. Ben, who is one of our Geek Espade members, is wanting to do some World of Warships, World of Tanks, World of Warplanes, one of those kind of games. So we're trying to figure out which one we're going to do. I don't know if I'll be involved, but it should at least be Ben and Spencer. So you can look forward to seeing them here, at least on the YouTube, and on Ben's Twitch channel, which is Loharl Games, I believe. Alright, so some Seraphim Thapia. Pop my fingers real quick. Crick, crack, snap. And we're just gonna take some Seraphim Sepia, and we're just gonna go over everything we just did. Overkill as that may seem. You want to be careful not to put too much on because we don't want it to run off, pool where it's not supposed to go. I'm okay with it pooling a little bit on the areas where I'm applying it, but I don't want it going off into the armor or anything. Because it will alter the appearance of the reds in the armor. Not a whole lot, but enough to be an issue. Alright then. Some of these tracks are very short. Exception being, of course, on areas like this where I've got this transition area between the bony protuberance and the armor color. A little bit of the wash getting mixed in there helps to blend the two together, so I'm okay with it getting in there. Filling gaps and stuff. Just try to avoid getting it too many other places. Almost wish I could just repaint my skeletons using this method, but I have so many of them. I feel like it would take me so long and not really be worth the effort. Well, then again, most of my skeletons aren't painted as it is. They really need to be primed or sprayed or something with a bone color to start off with to speed up the painting process. I have a fairly large undead army for Kings of War, not to mention my undead for Age of Sigmar. Oh, it's 4:30. Okay, I'm gonna have to end soon here because I am responsible for dinner tonight, and I gotta get started on it. So we will wrap up applying this wash. And then we will leave it to cure whilst I go make dinner. There we go. And that's the last of the Seraphim Sepia wash that goes on those 5. Alright, so that will have begun drying already, obviously. Kind of starts drying the second you put it on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to let the wash dry on these 5. Let it get nice and cured because we don't want to do anything over it while it's still even slightly wet. And when we come back, all the parchment gets another highlight of this pale sand, and the bone parts are going to get a highlight with bone white and then ivory. So it is a slightly different color scheme between the two, even though up until this point they're exactly the same. But we're going to go ahead and end the stream there. I wish this camera... Actually, I'm going to play with it real quick. Go to the editor. Webcam properties. Configure. Done. Zoom in a little bit. Now let's see if that I don't care about. Focus. Advanced settings. Let's increase the brightness. Adjust the contrast. Super color intense. Yeah. And save. Now you can at least see those a little bit. The color is a little bit off compared to the rest, but you can kind of see what they look like in that camera as well now. And it seems like if I block that one, you actually get a much better look at them. So let's just come back in here, properties, configure, because right now they look like, wow, that is a terrible, terrible coloring. Auto, right light, auto. That's actually pretty close. I think that's about as good as we're gonna get though, which makes me sad. No, turn off follow my face. There we go. It's about the best we're gonna get. So if I want to show you what they look like, I can just cover that. It takes the glare off the back of them and you can get a better look. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for your likes, your follows, your subscribes, and everything else with which you provide us. They make it so much fun to bring you content. And I am going to go make... I've only just realized... That was weird. Okay. I hope the music's been playing this whole time because it was there and then suddenly it disappeared. Alright, thank you everyone once again. Check out our Twitter and Instagram, which I believe are linked below, if you're interested in seeing finished pictures or pictures of other things that we've painted here. And we'll have more for you soon here at Geek-a-Spades. And we will catch you another time.